Well, apologies for the technical issues. Now we have already solved them. So the title of our presentation is Death from Above. And we believe that drones nowadays are being used for, well, for several purposes: surveillance, monitoring, recording. However, drones are also using for criminal activities. So this presentation is intended as sharing with you the most frequently found problems with drones, but do not get scared, okay? We are just offering that for information purposes. So, well, my name is David Moreno, pentester responsible of security of drones in Alpha Security, and my name is Nicolas Locke, IT engineer, and I'm also an expert in security. So, legal warning. What we will be showing here, will be shown only for teaching purposes. So we are not responsible, we are not liable for any materials that you may be using as a result of from our presentation. So first of all, what is a drone? Well, actually, drones were not defined in the Spanish Dictionary of Language up until 2014, which is an unmanned aircraft. So RPAs is also another term used for drones. Actually, they mean the same thing, but the only thing that changes is whether they are remotely, well, both are remotely operated, but in the case of these, they are autonomous vehicles. The autonomous vehicles have produced tracking, and they can be followed remotely without having an actual operator handling it. So here, this is a graph showing where all this started. It started back in 2014, and we've seen the great evolution of it as of the last year. We see these peaks. Often they take part or in December. We are not going to disclose why they peak at December, but anyway, they peak. Okay, what are the methods used to control drone? We have Bluetooth. This is for toy drones, so to speak. Let's just say they do not fly over 12 meters. Then we have Wi-Fi, also to control toy drones. And then there are other type of controls: RF, 3G, 4G, satellite, GPS, for more professional control of military or other type of professional drones. So according to Royal Decree in force since 31st of December 2017, differences have been made between two types of drones, depending on the use made of them. Well, we will be focusing on those that are below 2 kilograms in weight, and well, we have two types of them: professional use and for recreational use. Royal Decree also describes toy drones, that is to say, those that are below 250 grams and they cannot reach higher than 20 meters. And this is the decree that we have produced ourselves. Well, we have named it Royal Decree Nico and David 2018. So we have the toy drones, small drones, professional drones. Well, if you ever go to the mountains and you can hear a drone flying around you, often we are referring to this type of drones. And so if you are walking around the city, for instance, in the park, you may hear a drone around you from a neighbor who is making a recording, and these are also professional drones. And then, well, we have these racing ones. They are very small, very agile. They go round 360 degrees, like really fast. They rotate really fast. And then we have, in the last place, military drones. These are AVs, and the breadth of the wings may be of 5 meters, as wide as this stage. So regarding drones manufacturers, the most well-known are DJI, Para, 3DR, GoPro decided to withdraw from the market. They focused on a different business activity, and then the rest of the manufacturers do toy drones. We have also added General Atomics, which is the main manufacturer of military drones, and again we have another graph, a graph about the current situation in the drone market of drones, and then DJ is ranking first. So we are not intending to sell you drones. So we just want to show different types of drones and the price at which they are sold. So regarding toy drones, prices range from 43 to 80 euros. So that is to say affordable, very affordable. Then racing drones, that they are between 150 and 300 euros. So some of them are more elegant than others. We can also print them out on a 3D printer. And then we'd like to share this gift with you. So if you have good pulse, you have good reflexes, and you succeed at doing that, well, you can see how far you can get. Imagine what happens with espionage missions, with military missions. And now going back to professional drones. Here I would like to refer to the cheapest one from 233 euros from DJI. You get the components, then you assemble it, and then you can, well, the price can go up. And then, well, the price depends very much on the quality of the camera in it. So here we have this first image. This drone has balls in it. In case of forest fires, these balls are launched and then the fire is put out. The second one belongs to law enforcement agencies, and this is used for surveillance. And the last one is from DIJ, and it can be adapted to the demands of the client. Can be used for recording, filming, surveillance, whatever purpose the client wants to give to it. Last, we have the UAVs, the military ones. Well, we cannot park them in our home garage, and well, the price is 5 million euros. I could not afford any of them, even if I were to save money all my life. And now I would like to show to you some of the possible uses. Sokil Strike is a UAV that was bought by the Ukraine army. So there are 5 drivers, the flight operator, different towers, and then it cleans up the horizon, opens up the horizon. Well, this could just prevent human casualties or human death. What is interesting to highlight from here? Well, on the left we have the mission plan, a controller, a program. So this is a screenshot of our PC. And on the right we have the UAV, the mission planner, operated by the Ukraine army officers. And we see that this is just exactly the same. This means that anyone can access this program and can use the program, well, as they wish. And then, where's Wally? I don't know whether you have played this game or not, but imagine that you have a very crowded area and you want to find a specific target. How can you do that? When again, we break down that philosophy. We came we live in Madrid, and then in July and August it's very hot. You want to sleep all the time, so this is the average temperature. So no rainfall. It's 1 a.m. You cannot sleep. The next day you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and out of the sudden you hear this noise. So did that happen to you? I will stop it now. I asked the people that I know if they could describe the sensations, the feelings that they had when they could hear this buzz, and people say, well, this is very negative feeling, anxiety, paranoia, panic. And then only one person said, well, I'm never bitten by mosquitoes. And I said, well, you are very, very lucky. So I would like to ask you the very same question, but this time when you hear this sound. Well, hopefully you will not go deaf. Oh, apologies. Now. So does it ring a bell to you? Is it familiar to you? I stop. I ask the same question to my friends, and they answered the following. Well, one said, well, probably he would take better pictures than mine. I want one for myself. Oh, that's awesome. How does it work? Some people also expressed the fear of being recorded, and they said that that generated mistrust. So have you ever considered that the sound that we associate with mosquitoes could be in the future associated with drones? Have you ever thought about that? Well, actually, we couldn't bring this drone with us because our suitcase was already very heavy. So we used this toy drone, and then we thought about some of the things we could do with it. Well, using optical sensor for facial recognition, we could also have a behavior in botnets through several drones simultaneously. We could identify targets. We could do very many things with it. So notice the graph or the image on the left. Focus on that. This was propaganda or advertising done against the use of drones in the UK. And as you can see, they were using a mini drone carrying 3 grams of explosive just to kill or to destroy a mannequin. Well, everyone who has watched this video has been very much frightened. Well, this is fake, but if you wanted, you could do it. And on the right, this is what we did with our toy drone, 99 euros. What we did was to fly it, and as it was flying, it did facial recognition. We didn't add 3 grams of explosive. I just didn't want to be killed by it. And as you can see, the drone is out all the time, well, recognizing my face. So how much real is this? Let us do a timeline with all the news we've been seeing recently. So in 2014, ISIS launched this propaganda video. So where they used a drone similar to this one here. We will look at it in greater detail later on, and it was a drone that dropped bombs. They were killing, and people were being killed. So in this second image here, right on top of the GIF, well, this drone is exactly the same as this one. In this case, we have classified this threat as terrorism. So the news in the UK was that drones were used to introduce drugs into UK prisons. So you may watch the video. Well, the whole process is recorded in the video, and in this case, let us say the positive outcome for the bad guys amounted to 500,000 euros. So other news that followed, vandalism. So a famous graffiti maker used the drone to stamp his signature on a piece of advertising. Well, this was considered to be an act of vandalism. Well, an opposite, completely different thing is citizen security. It was a person who wanted to record a game in the US Open in America. Then the door crashed against a seat that fortunately was empty. The person was arrested and was prosecuted, was taken to court for that. So, well, ignore the GIF. And in this case, drones were used for espionage. It was being said that 7 nuclear power plants were spied with drones in the last 2 years. Greenpeace did not claim responsibility for that, but anyway, the drones were invading critical infrastructure, and that is classified as a crime, other type of terrorism. A Japanese person used the drone to put radioactive material on the rooftop of the Japan Prime Minister as a way to protest against the nuclear campaign launched by Japan Prime Minister. In YouTube, we have seen that a drone has gone very close to aircraft, and as I said, the drone had jeopardized the operation of the helicopter. And then in 2018, case of Nicolas Maduro, apparent assassination attempt, so no casualties as a result of it. We see here the bodyguards preventing the attack. Is this accessible to everyone? Can we have access to these things that we are seeing in the video? Well, the attacks we've seen so far were about a person controlling and handling a drone. So now we can really see whether a drone in itself do something which is more science fiction. Going to a place, attacking a person and making decisions. And therefore, the first thing we thought that was needed for that was, first of all, having a drone. Well, then we know that drones, you can buy them off the shelf, or you can also make them yourselves. So, for instance, if you visit Chinese websites, so you see a drone that has been used by ISIS for propaganda, and then you can see it on sale. A top photograph, it's nearly 200 euros, and if not, well, 3 euros, you buy these cards or this plastic, and you can print it out in a 3D printer. Also, when you search for this type of drone on the internet, you see the sashi, and then, well, these other components, and then you can build it yourself. So for the electronics is very affordable. Different type of controllers, running different software, different features. Or if you are handier than that and you can even want to save more money, you can build your own controller through Arduino or others. But anyway, as I say, to manufacture your own controller, you will have to be very, very crafty. Well, and we tried it. We tried it ourselves. This is our homemade drone. Arduino, the sensors that are being read here, the values that we are getting, and that's it, a very economical drone. So with this, we mean that you don't really need to spend lots of money to have your drone. If you invest between 50 and 110 euros, you can end up with a good quality drone. So these are other homemade drones. So we have here the tricopter, and then we have this wing that we also made ourselves. And once we have our drone, well, now we should start thinking about evil plans. Well, some of the evil plans could be as followed. Well, we could add very many optic sensors and cameras to our drone for surveillance and spying. I flew the drone around my home, and this is a 3D mapping that I made of the area where I live. So we could do espionage activities real time. If we add an infrared camera to our drone, we could fly the area and spy it. Other things that also came to mind were the following. We could use our drone to detect people. So with this time, we set up a circuit looking for the MACs of the mobile phone, so that to locate people, and then if we would check the MAC that we defined against the MAC that we have found. So when the MAC is detected, a message is sent out to the drone, and the drone tells us where the device is. And this could be very good, for instance, to search for a person who is lost or who needs help. Another type of attack that we could launch would be an autonomous attack. As we have seen in the propaganda video, even if it was fake, okay, the drones were autonomously flying and there were no control on part of anyone. But we could program a mission. We could add a peripheral to the drone, asking the drone to interact with the controller, and by the time the drone reaches its destination, could launch an attack. And well, as we can see here in the video. This is my friend David, flying his drone in the countryside, has sent out the drone to coordinates. That's exactly where he is. Okay, the drone will stop by the time it will reach him, and then we'll launch an attack. We wanted to do that live, but we just didn't want to damage the displays or the screens or the roof. And this is what it did. It just launched the attack. So this bomb, we brought it with us. So, and this is, well, it was very easy for the drone to drop the attack. Another attack that we also thought about was more science fiction attack. It was about flying the drone to a destination and then having the drone choosing his target. So we included an algorithm for the drone to detect people and then find those people at destination and attack them. So he is David running before the drone. The drone is trying to chase him. The drone is getting ready, wants to chase him. So flying drone is flying to the coordinates we have given to it, and these are the targets. When the drone finds the target, well, attacks them. Are you frightened, or you are comfortable seeing all that? Okay. Defensive. So this was a controversial news, saying that, well, to stop one of these drones, you have to spend 3 million artillery. So which should be the balance there? What is actually profitable? What are the current defense methods? Well, on the one hand, well, you have to use your imagination, okay? Setting up nets in case a drone comes by. The nets the drone is caught in the net. So, what is currently being done are jammers. Jammers, we measure the frequency of the drone, and then the drone is blocked and then it falls down. Also, lasers that are used to fly the drone, and also we use hijacking, or big drone companies offer a cloud-based service when they log all the information for the flight. Well, we know it's very difficult to access to that log, to that information, because we know that there are dedicated people working in cybersecurity, but well, that could be done. And then we have microwave cannon that use animals, and that was highly criticized because it was said that eagles that were trained to detect drones and to stop them did not ignore the instructions of people giving the instructions. And then we could say, what happens if we just throw something right away to the drone through a water hose? Well, it would be difficult to reach the drone. Or we can also do the spoofing or the Wi-Fi, and we could also try to attack right away the application that the client is using to communicate with the drone.
Defense against drones already exists, and some of the problems they have to solve is very often that a drone is not a standard one. For example, if they manufacture jammers, if a drone does not comply with the standard they're familiar with, if they have different frequencies, different telemetry systems. Another case, for example, a drone may not have any type of communication. It can fly autonomously to a place, carries out an attack, and in case we want to jam GPS signal, it could be a drone using inertial systems or that follows the roads, for example. Another problem is that drones are small and agile. That means that a standard radar that usually used for planes cannot detect drones, and they're very complicated to follow. In the case of racing drones, well, for a computer to follow that, it's impossible. Some of these solutions we've seen to take down a drone, as it's been said before, sending a drone using, as you can see here, a laser to you detect the drone and shoot laser in order to take it off. More specific tracking systems using laser, for example, radar or lidar, which is scanned through laser. Here you can see some of the devices that are currently sold. This is from DJI. It's sold to as a means of defense against their own drones. You could put it in an area that you want to protect. They identify a drone, and in case it's a threat, it tries to take it down. This, that looks like a video game, it's super cool. It's a gun. You point it at the drone, and it jams the drone to try to take it off. Some real countermeasures we can see in real life, besides the ones applied in security. In Iran, they use spoofing and GPS jamming in order to capture a spy drone. In this case, they use jamming to make the drone lose control, and then GPS spoofing, so that once control is lost, the drone will try to go back home. So they change the coordinates and force it to land in a different place. Another countermeasure was against Russia and Ukraine. Russia had bought these drones to the US, and they were used for in order to identify Ukraine's bases. Another countermeasure, telemetry hijacking, with software and a regular TV antenna. This was used as with the software called Skygrabber. It was connected with military drones. They could capture the video sent by the drones to the central base, and with this, the Iraqi had an advantage over US missions. Another countermeasure, which is not directly aimed at the drone, it has to do with forensics. As you can see in the picture, drone attacks are quite frequent. And here, once a drone has been captured, you can carry out a forensic analysis. And in this paper, which is very interesting, in a nutshell, they used drones, captured drones. There was a forensic analysis, and they could dismantle a trafficking network of drones used for military purpose. We've shown how governments protect their countries. Now we would like to show you how we can protect ourselves against these attacks. In order to protect ourselves against drone attacks, we need 3 steps. First of all, detection, identification, and then response. So, detection. For example, if we hear the noise of a drone, such as the one we've shown before, we could notify it somehow. This is for TDT. You can change the format to listen to every radio signal, and it costs €8. With this, we can cover different radio frequencies, such as the ones used by drones, to detect telemetry signal or video signal, perhaps training with an algorithm. If we detect this type of signals, an alarm could be sounded to show that there's a drone. Another way could be using this type of signals to get information. For example, the drone uses Wi-Fi, we could obtain the ESSID or MAC, and a warning could be launched. Second, identification. Once we know there's a drone, now we need to know where is it and whether it's a threat. And for this, we could use an optical sensor, a camera, for example, with an algorithm trained to detect drones. We don't just need to see what the drone is, but also what type of drone is in order to attack it. So now we've identified the drone and what type of attack we can carry out. In this case, in this slide, we show the attacks aimed at our drone .0. First of all, kill all, where you kill every active processes in the drone and it just falls down. We'll see a video later on that makes me laugh. The second attack is we identified the ones that use Wi-Fi. We keep the vendor MIC, and if we know that there's a similar drone close to us, we send packages with this identification and the operator loses the connection. Spoofing. In this case, the drone we used doesn't have GPS, but if it does, we use IP and MIC. We can control part of the drone. In this case, our drone 2.0 used ID protocol to connect with the engine, so we could send a signal to the engine the values. And then jammer. We inhibit the operator signal and this person loses control over the device. So with the second attack, the authentication, here we left the vendor's marks, the brands that use Wi-Fi to control the drones, either for video streaming or telemetry, are these ones: GoPro, Parrot, and DJI. We write an outing script and we find a MAC around it. We send the authentication package. We had this little module at home and we could see there was something here. It's a library. I encourage you to use it and to see how its Wi-Fi protocol works. In this case, with this library, we carried out the authentication of the operator and his device. And I'm going to show you this with a video. It's not top quality, but the operator is flying the drone. We see the app. This is the DMSU module. The library we've shown is directly controlled with the other phone. We see the signal that the operator is getting. He loses the connection, and when the drone loses the connection, it stays still in the air. Now the connection has been lost. And we are controlling the connection with the computer. Now we're going to control the drone with the computer. I apologize for the quality. There are colleagues around. Flying with the keyboard is not easy. We've shown a toy drone, a simple one, but now we want to see what happens with, so to speak, real-life drones, the ones we see in the streets, the ones that can lift 2 kilograms. The first attack that we came up with, and which has been used, there were some pictures published yesterday. The Turkish army, instead of machine guns, they were carrying out guns in order to protect themselves against drones. In this case, we use jammers. We can measure any frequency we want: 3G, 4G, GPS, Wi-Fi. In our case, we used HackRF1. We send the noise to the drone and we make it lose its signal. Regarding GPS spoofing, it works 100% nowadays. In this case, this is how GPS works. The device wants to know its location, it contacts different satellites, it estimates a delay with the different satellites, and it estimates the exact position. I'm not going to get into detail because we're running out of time. We wanted to replicate this attack based on this library, which I highly encourage. After buying all the materials, we did it we read lots of documentation. It didn't work. What was the problem? We need a highly precise clock to correct the deviation the HackRF is not giving you. So let's skip the technical part. We carried out the GPS spoofing attack. We were telling the drone, you're flying in Madrid and we want to send you to Ukraine. We need to falsify the position. We can change the world and we can say to which part we want it to go. This is the attack. The coordinates are from Cuenca. This is an homage to a teacher we had who was always speaking about Cuenca. This is what we've seen in the first slides. We see the drone doesn't have coverage. We were in Madrid, I can guarantee that. This was a closed environment. Here we have the GPS antenna, the clock I've mentioned. It's here, in case you want to ask anything. We check that it's Cuenca. We launch the script. Here we can see that the mobile device is receiving satellites, which are not the ones it should receive. We use even a GPS watch to receive the new GPS. I apologize. We see that the watch has received Cuenca's coordinates. We see that the phone connected through Cuenca's coordinates and the drone has connected through Cuenca coordinates. Could you please fast forward a little bit? We show the drone so that you can see it's real. Next attack. The next countermeasure would be telemetry hijacking. This is about capturing telemetry and if we can send telemetry to the drone. It depends on the manufacturer and the telemetry system it's using. In our case, it was a 433 megahertz radio, and when the one on the computer and the one on board are synchronized, they are assigned an ID. And once this ID is established, it ignores any other ID. We modify the code so that it ignores the ID and so that it can receive and send information to any ID. In this way, we can connect to any drone that's flying and has this system on board. What can we do? We can send commands to the drone. We can cancel control over by the user. We can send the drone into missions, or if it's flying, we can disable it in the middle of flight so that it falls down. This is a demo. In this case, you can see that David is here flying his drone with very bad intentions. You can hear the engine where he's playing with the controls, and you see the engine is working but it has no wings, so it's on the ground. The attack has taken place and he doesn't have control over the drone anymore. The mission sent is to be lifted 1 meter above. This is the end of the mission. This is the end of the script, and the user receives control back. If a drone is coming to us, we remove control and we make it land in a protected area. If we combine all these attacks, security user systems such as these ones. This is the anti-drone system we've created. It's homemade, completely homemade. There's an antenna for jamming. This antenna here for detection in 2.4 gigahertz. Using the radio, we can detect signals. We have hack RF for GPS spoofing and a camera to detect drone in case it's present, so that we can identify it. And we have the electronics to control these, because these can move upwards, downwards, etc. These are two attacks, one with this drone here and another one with this other drone. We didn't take it. We didn't bring it. We're in the countryside. This is our drone flying against the area. Here you can see the drone has been detected. It's trying to connect to telemetry. Telemetry has connected and is sending something. Sending a mission. The mission is flying to a safe height and land in GPS coordinates we've sent. As you can see, I've lost control over the drone. I'm a bit scared because I'm afraid that it will fall down. And this way we could avoid the attack we've shown before. Next one. This is AR drone, which is the cooler. This is what the drone is seeing. We're there. Here we detect the drone is there. With a better camera, it would be better detected. The attack has been sent. Once it has fallen down, what forensic information can we get from these devices? In this case, we show all the programs, the different things they do, and this is the log that would show us what we could do next. We see the matching date with matching with the first device, then our SSID and the release it uses. The device was MD5 of Mac. This is important. And the last flight that's taken place. Are you familiar with ward driving? If you're very lucky, perhaps the SSID can be uploaded into Wiggle, and it gives you an approximate area around which the operator has been flying. Many drones include different controllers. There are different brands and models. Some of the most widely known are these, but this is the software. In our case, our drone uses autopilot and will try to carry out a forensic analysis. It's as simple as connecting the drone through USB, and using the tools we have for the drone, we can download the log. You see all the flights, there are 12 logs, and in the case a drone doesn't work, you just need to carry out a chip off to read the memory directly. This is an example of one of our logs. It's open, we can see the firmware release, the coordinates, altitude, the flight mode, whether it was automatic or manual. And the files we get are in .bin and .txt. These are used by the tool For this controller, which is Mission Planner, we can open them and recreate the flight with graphics. We see here the history of altitude. We could also recreate the flights, all the flights. Here in blue you have one flight, in green another one, and in red another one. If we go back, you could see that I had been flying in different areas. About other controllers, we have the ones with paparazzi firmware. We can extract the logs and use tools to view them. PX4, which is a miniature pilot, we can download all the logs and view them using its tools. In the case of Betaflight, it can be connected to the console and stored, and we can recover the logs. There are some interesting tools I've found in the case of INCIBE and others. But logs sometimes are in binary code, you cannot read them directly. With this program, you can create a CSV file, or you can even recreate the flight using a map. About generic drones, the ones you can buy in the market, we could analyze their mobile app. DJI has its own application. In the application, we could obtain information such as accounts, uploaded files, user files, erased files, logs, even login tokens, in order to connect to the cloud. Or we can get information about login and password, not just DJI, this is for many different brands. In the case they have cloud and we obtain the login token, we can obtain information from the account, the drones registered by this user, flight histories, and we can even download pictures and videos. Pictures and videos using software, they could be used to recreate the flights this drone has made. The drone itself, it has an SD memory, can extract pictures and videos stored in it. Many of them have flight logs. The internal memory itself, both through physical extraction or tip-off. And in the case of DJI, we can obtain a file which is DAT with the history of every GPS coordinate. We can more or less recreate the flight. Well, this is everything. We don't want you to create homemade drones with bombs. We just wanted to show you that these things are quite accessible, both from an attacking and a defensive point of view.